What is up? What is up? I am trying to connect my headphones here so I can be talking to you and hear you here.
That works.
It's happening in real time, so I'm trying to say it while I'm doing it. Hello, hello, hello.
Hello.
Bang! We're live.
We're in. We are live. What's up, brother?
Well, just getting ready for Miami. Headed to Miami. Sorry, are you jealous? You should be.
I don't think I could play that music live for copyright versions,
Miami.
but right.
Welcome to Miami. Oh, sorry.
What's wait, what are the lyrics say? Hold on, I'm gonna look up the lyrics. Oh yeah. Ooh. Oh man, it's
Miami. No, definitely Miami. Miami's happening.
What's everyone up to today?
What we got? Is it like a holiday or something? I heard it's like a holiday or something.
It is. It might not be. Everyone's chasing their kids around.
You know how that's how I found out. I was like, wait, what are you guys still doing here?
They're chasing their kids around.
Hold on, man. Yeah, I'm doing a lot of that today. Lots of that going on. How you doing today, dude?
Dude, I'm good, man. I am also excited for Miami. It snowed this weekend. It's like 17 degrees, so I'm excited. We got a presentation Wednesday from franchise partners, and I'm super excited. So I've been just kind of working on that. We've been working on that together.
Yes, we have.
And it's kind of brought back some classic.
Re-brought back. Oh, I like that.
Brought back. I don't know if that's a term or not.
It's a holiday term. We bring it out on holidays only, y'all. Re-brought back. Okay.
Yeah. No, Bradley, we're in Miami tomorrow.
Yeah, these will work tomorrow, not today.
Yeah. No. So this is like the pre-welcome to Miami. I almost put like almost
pre-funk.
Like
you have no idea what's in here, Bradley. No ideas. It's just coffee. I'm gonna keep it real.
Little Baileys.
It's black. No, I got kids. I got to keep it real. But that's true. So like just earlier, we're trying to figure out how to. No, that's not true. We know what we're doing. Resonating.
Well, I was watching. I'll tell the people. I was watching the video. Simon Sinek, Start With Why. I remember seeing it like 10 years ago. I think they played it for us like an Aerotech meeting or a national sales meeting or something, 2013, 14. Because he gave the talk in 2009, which is crazy. That's when I graduated from college. So that's pretty nuts. But I just remember seeing it early on. It's just like, heck yeah. And obviously it resonated with a lot of people because it went viral. And he's, a huge, he's a globally recognized probably speaker at this stage. And it was just with everything that we've been doing just in the trenches, helping recruiters telling me like, hey, business is a struggle. I'm struggling with this, or it's not the same as a couple years ago, or I don't know what to do or where to go. Like there's just so much chaos and noise. And how do you resonate with your market? How do you get the great clients? How do you get rid of the bad clients? Get good candidates, right? Not get ghosted, all these different things. And recruiting is just so commoditized, right? And Sinek talks about, right, like the what, the how, the why, like the whole thing kind of in a circle. And it just got me thinking to the why, right? Why are we doing this on a Monday, on a President's Day holiday? Why do we show up on this thing, on this live? And why do we recruit? Why do we sell? Why do we do this? And I think it's an important reflection because it's easy to just like push and push more, but taking a step back and being like, what is the whole purpose of all this? And if you don't know that, it's really important to articulate and to know that about yourself. It's going to help in those dog days of, they call it dog days of winter, those cold days of, or dog days of summer, cold days of winter.
Well, think about how many people started 8 years ago, right? And now you're in the dog days of winter. And do you even know why you're waking up at 4 a.m. trying to kill it? Like, do you know why you're staying late as heck? Do you know why you're giving up time with with your kids? Do you know those whys? Do you remember why? And so in our conversation today, in thinking about this all, it's taking me back to like my original why of why I got into recruiting. and it is the absolute basis for why I'm here today, doing this on a Monday, on a holiday with my kids, because ultimately, I want to be a better version of myself.
So, first off, I got to tell everyone my sign broke this week. We got to hang it back up. It fell off this week. I don't know.
Oh snap!
It fell off.
Yeah.
We're gonna fix that when I'm out. I think that's gonna get fixed. So I'm excited. You just had something click. There's why you got into recruiting, and I've interviewed enough people on the podcast, yourself included. Almost everyone kind of falls into it. Potentially, you maybe being the exception. But
I think
more
so.
importantly, why are you staying in recruiting?
Yeah.
Right. When do you see, like, after you get the offers rejected or declined or they get ghosted or clients are difficult to deal with or your anchor account goes away, why do you stay in recruiting? Why do you keep trying to make this work?
Well, for me personally, it's because I started this saying that, number one, personally, I want to be a better version of myself. But then two, like, I know so many people we hear from, like, there's a sincere, I want to help somebody else. It is sincere when you start. Like, I like when I first started, all I wanted to do was seriously just sit with somebody and figure out a way to make your life better. And that is how that is the basis, the heart of how it all started.
How do you do that? Because I hear that a lot, but what does that mean?
No idea. Like, you have no idea when you start, right? I think you have no idea. You just know that you want to do it. So then you like do these things in hopes that you'll get to this place where you feel like you can both make money and help people.
Yeah.
But then life happens along the way.
Yeah. So then where does it get stuck? Where does it get broken? And if you're listening, if you got thoughts and comments and questions on this, put them in the chat. Like, this is
the struggle.
Yeah. Like what's kind of the struggle, right? Why does it feel like guys are talking directly to me? Dude.
Because we're all in the struggle, dude.
Dude, we're all in it with you, man.
We're all in it, yeah.
Yeah.
We're all struggling.
In it.
Right? Well, I think that's the honesty, right? Is we're all struggling and we're all figuring it out. And the lack of honesty is the social media piece of it, where it looks like everybody's like just thriving. And the reality is we're all just figuring it out. We're all figuring out that why and trying to get closer to it.
Yeah, it's all a struggle, but I think it's clear. We do these twice a week. I think people listening and watching know, like, we're having fun with the struggle.
Oh my gosh, yes.
And that was not always the case for me, and I know that was not always the case for you. So it's like, how do you get there? How do you embrace the struggle and enjoy it?
Good point.
Thrive in it.
Good point. Why wasn't it fun
before?
Why wasn't it fun before?
So for me, what I would say, when I started at selling at Aerotech after I got promoted, I think I had a story that I was telling myself. I think I mentioned this before a couple weeks ago on live. I was going to be a great manager because I care about people. I was a great recruiter. I'm going to hire a recruiter, and they're going to do great because I care, and they're going to be like me and how I was, and all these things. It's just going to be an energy handoff. That's all it is. Right? It's just handing it off to the running back, and Christian McCaffrey, and they're off and running. It was not like that at all. With the clients, right? Being a recruiter, I respected my manager significantly. I did not know all the work behind the scenes that she was really doing to get those great accounts, to get those great clients, to keep with it, to have that frame, that authority, that leadership to make my job much easier. I didn't realize the amount of energy that took, and as you said, brain calories that took to make this whole thing spin, and to prospect, and to be an account manager, and to work with me, and to get the right candidates, and make sure I had the right plan. It was executing it, like just all the intricacies. I didn't see it until I got hit with it. And what happened, I was kind of racing around on my meetings and everything. I was just turned into a robot trying to do all the things. I was clearly stressed. Yep. And that's not the energy you want to give in sales at all, right? Do we ever buy from a stressed out salesperson? No, we talk about them at dinner. And like, that's, like, I just fell into that in a sense, right? I fell into recruiting, and I fell into bad sales habits.
Dang, you just, oof. That was like, you brought me back. that was that was like a visceral feeling. Well, okay.
After being successful in recruit, like crazy successful as a recruiter.
Yeah.
Like 10K in spread within 5 months, like higher than anyone else, you know, the quicker than really anyone else hit it in that office as a recruiter and all that. Like it was just like a, shooting star.
So
punching them out.
To what you just said, and now what, can you put what Rachel just said? Because this is where, for me personally, things started to change.
Yeah.
So the struggle can also be when you genuinely want to help people, but the lack of appreciation can wear and tear. I was somebody that unfortunately, and I say that, I needed validation. Like I needed some external validation from my business owners, my managers, to let me know I was doing the right thing or on the right track, even from my clients or customers, just something. Because in the beginning, I didn't know if I was doing the right thing. In the beginning, when I would work 14 hours and get paid 8 because I cared so deeply about wanting to help people, I didn't know if that was right. And most of my business owners would be telling me, dude, no, you only work for what you pay. And that didn't feel right to me. But then also from a client's perspective, right, I would deliver for them working 14 hours and I wouldn't get that, hey, that 14 hours you did, thank you so much. So internally it was like, do I let them know how much I'm working? Do I let them know how much I care and I'm doing this? And so like there's this genuine want to help and be known as the helper and what you're willing to go through to be that person. And if somebody doesn't even just, at least for me personally, Rachel, I'll say like it wouldn't break me, but it would it would have me questioning everything I'm doing. Like, is this the right thing to do? Should I be listening to them? Should I only be working 8 hours? Maybe. And that like just that lack of appreciation is that wear and tear. So personally, for me, to bring it forward for me, where I've now been able to thrive is I don't care about that anymore. So my problem was that I needed somebody to tell me that I was going in the right direction and doing the right thing. And I had to work myself out of that to figure out my own direction, give my own self-validation. And then that was when I could finally do what we're doing now over like the last year and a half, 2 years.
It has to come from that, right? As we've talked about, I started posting I started post just to get what I knew out there because I thought it needed to be said and heard. And I knew that if it sparked those light bulb moments for me in my life, it could for others. And I didn't need everyone to care about that or like that or comment on it. And I knew that there would be lurkers because I know at times I have lurked.
Yeah.
And learned a ton from someone that doesn't even know I exist. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to be that for someone else. And that's the key in the transformation. You have to approach it that way. I'm just going to do this because I have to do this. Not because I'm going to get validation, but like I have to. Like I got away from the recruiting industry. I was completely pulled back in. I was like, I belong here. Yes, I was burnt out at Aerotech, but I need to be in here because I learned some key things, and I knew things, and I knew other people, and I had learned and gotten repetition on things that I know not everyone gets, but they need it to get to the other side. And
it's because
you have to own that. Like you just have to own it and just do it, and whatever happens, happens.
If I've been saying this. And I tell you this, dude, and it goes to what Jennifer down there just said. When I grew up watching movies with my parents. And I've told you this many times. I didn't grow up watching the movie with my parents. I grew up watching my parents' reactions to watching the movies because I wanted to figure out how to recreate joy. I wanted to figure out how to recreate laughter. And so if I could figure out at the moments in time of the scenes in the movie where they would laugh or have joy, then I could recreate that myself. And I freaking love doing that. And that's what let me. So to Clark's point earlier, when he said that me and Clark are the only ones who might be the weirdos, that like I went and got my degree to be a recruiter because I've always known that my calling in this world, and I didn't know how, but it was to be working directly with people. Like I knew that my empath ability, my empathy plus authority, my ability to unclutter your brain, my ability to give my confidence and then just transfer it to you. I knew there was something there, and I, again, didn't know what, but it seemed like recruiting was the one aspect, the one role where I could work directly with somebody else. I didn't know about coaching. I didn't know about all this other stuff, but it was the one role where it was like the human was the product, and I could have a piece in the story of that product, right? And in the heart of it. And to Jennifer's point, I'm so passionate about matching people to what I felt like were their dreams. Because whenever people talk about careers, they would always talk about it, their dreams, right? And so it's like, oh my God, I get to have a part of a dream process. And that's why recruiting always spoke to me. And that's why the why of it. And I'm still here because that's still the basis of what we do. We're still trying to help people fulfill dreams, still become a better version of themselves, wherever that next stop may be.
Well, I mean, what you just said there, right? It's just owning the fact of how can you just be a cog in the wheel of someone's journey. And people take on so much responsibility to be the everything in that journey.
Yes.
So much responsibility. And you can let go of a ton of that stuff. And just like, what can you own? What is your lane? Where do you thrive for yourself and for other people? Where do you give and serve the best without harming yourself, right? And taking too much energy and all that. And that might just be, and it's not necessarily what you're doing it, but it's who you're doing it with, right? Bad clients, transactional clients. Maybe you're giving too much energy to them and kind of have to remove that, figure out to remove that to open the space for great clients, right? Keely's talked about that on a couple lives that we did here, right? If all that time spent with bad clients and candidates and people that don't respect you or don't value you, you don't even have the opportunity to get good, to get those great clients. And to your point, you grew up, and it's so similar to kind of how I grew up too, but just paying attention, seeking to understand, right? You live these principles that now you clearly see in the society it's a desert. People are thirsting for them, right? With all the noise, everything with what COVID did. I mean, he realigned everyone's priorities. I mean, everyone reconsider what their priorities actually are. Like Jennifer here. I mean, I love this. I left a career as an HR director from burnout during COVID. Thought hard about what I loved about my job, passionate about matching great people with great companies. 35 years, still the one thing that satisfied me about my career. So now it's what I do all the time. Boom. I should have just shut up and just let that do the talking. Like, that's it.
Yeah.
That's it right there.
And yeah, no. It's perfect.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it. Me just talking everyone's ear off, like, hey, dummy, it's the words right there.
No, but you know what?
That's what it is.
That's it. In the process, Jennifer, I'm sure, like most people, you get lost in the sauce. You get lost in the sauce, and
it's so easy.
You get lost in the process. You know what I hate, Jennifer? You know what I worked at Amazon for a little over a year. And I told myself a story before I got there and it's no offense to anybody, and it might be true, but I told myself a story that the smartest people in the world work there. And it kind of changed my why a little bit. And I didn't realize it. Because ultimately my why is always to just connect great people with great opportunity. That's honestly my why, because then I'm working with people. And so then, like, along our way, these demarcation, these forks in the road come. Mine was Amazon, where I thought, again, the smartest people in the world work there. And then you experience it, right? And you realize that there's so many entities, there's so many people that treat the people process as a process, and they forget the people. And the one thing that the one reason I had to leave Amazon and do my own thing, where it was less about just the whole processes of things that are happening, but it was just more the one-on-one. Me as the recruiter with you, the candidate, and the business. Hey, I have this business and this opportunity. I did my research on you. Here it is. Does it work for you? Yes or no? There's no pressure. I don't need to try to sell you hard or anything, right? And I'm just really trying to help somebody the best I can. But I think so much of it in that process, we forget the people part of it. And to your point, Jennifer, that's all I care about is the one-to-one person relationship. Like that relationship. So many of my candidates, like we're okay, we're not friends, but like we see each other on LinkedIn. Like we see each other on different social medias, and it's just simpatico because it's just a friendship. It's a relationship. It's just a, you know what I mean? Like
it's just good vibes, man. Like
it's just good vibes.
Not to sound like a San Diego surfer bro, but like it you know, who had just had my acai bowl, but like it is good vibes. Like you're not going to be at Thanksgiving with all the candidates that you place or the clients that you place, but just we only get one shot at this whole thing, right? In life, and those little moments when you have those kind of like the unspoken like bond with someone, like those little things where those are all the people that you've impacted, Kevin, but from just the way you approach them and heard them and listened to them and told them the truth and gave them feedback and try to do the right thing. And you might not, and here's the thing, weren't perfect and made mistakes, but they knew that your intent wasn't to have that type of, it was to have a good 100%. Impact, right? Like the whole thing and over again. And same thing with people, I'm sure, on my LinkedIn, right? It's like, it might have led to some business. It might have led to a new job, right? They might have talked to me and not signed up for the program. That's okay. I can still have great conversations with them because the mission is still the mission. And I don't let the magnitude, the enormity of someone's journey take control over mine, because I don't know their whole story. Like I don't know their whole everything. And so many people get defensive and are quick to judge, not like a crazy judgment, but like, oh, they have it out for me. It's like, just if you can learn to let go with that, right? What is the worst that can happen? Someone says no, they don't work with you or whatever. Just let it. It's okay. There's more people. There's more candidates. There's more clients. There's people out there, and it's okay.
You're talking about it right now.
What's that?
You're talking about it right now.
Yeah.
So I'm a cue up Clark here. We talk about, and I'm going to break it down. We talk about scarcity. He's talking about scarcity right now versus abundance.
Yeah.
But really what you're talking about, Clark, is security with oneself, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. So like, and I just want to cue this up for you. Like, for instance, the difference between, you hop on a call with a candidate, and it's a great call. Most recruiters that we meet are only going to go 10 to 15 minutes because that's the process that they go through, no matter how the call is going, right? I'm so secure with who I am and what I'm doing, and I know what I'm doing, and I feel confident of that I'm willing to wait to say 45 minutes on with this candidate if it answers all my questions, so that I can present this person in a way to my client in the best possible light. Or if there's something more information, like I'm willing to go the extra mile.
It's that, but then what happens? You get people that, I remember talking to one recruiter last year. He was talking to people all the time for an hour that he was never going to place. And I was like, so you got to watch out for that, right? Is it giving just to give your time? I mean, in turn, you could actually just be wasting your time and their time, right? So there's no virtue in talking to just everyone all the time, because in making it, you're a good person. That person is looking to get a job. Like, line up the business strategy, your systems and all that, so that your approach of giving and serving, you're in the lane of the people that can actually use your service.
Yep.
Like, that's the missing piece. People, it's like, oh, I can recruit all roles and do everything and do all this. Like, but that makes it so hard for people to know how you can help them.
Yeah.
Or it's going to get a bunch of random people reaching out for you, helping. Like, I don't have all these roles. I just have like a bunch of accounting roles, right? It's like, well, then say that you're an accounting recruiter, right? Like, do that, be in that lane, and man, you're going to be so much happier. That's why I don't care if you niche or verticalize, but it's one of the quickest ways to just get on track.
Yeah.
And start getting in the direction that you want to do, and just help make things simple for you, so you can deliver all those qualities that you would like, seeking, understand, listening, helping people, all that. But you have to plan to do those things, and you have to prepare to do those things. It can't just be willy-nilly. and you have to stay on top of those things. You have to evolve, right? We talk about the Facebook group recruiters, right? That, oh, my messaging now isn't working like they did 10 years ago. Well, the candidates that would love you are getting hit up by 100 times more people.
Yeah.
Like, they're not seeing your message. So instead of bitching about it, how do I make sure they see my message in 2024? Because it's not 2013 anymore.
John just nailed it. I mean, Jennifer and John, I mean, y'all are killing it. Y'all are killing it. Everybody's just, part of that security, part of the overall mindset of abundance and confidence comes from a position of understanding who you are, what you do, what value you deliver, and not trying to be everything to anyone. Because if you're everything to everyone, then you're nothing to no one. Because
so good, John.
There's, if you find yourself trying to be everything, okay, there you go. Yeah, 100%, 100%. Because, and we talk about it. Think all the noise out there. That's why call to actions are necessary, right? That's why we have call to actions. Because if you don't tell people what to do, exactly. Being willing to put a stake in the ground and know this is what we do. This is how we do it. And we do it as good or better than anyone in the market. And in that sense, you're giving people direction, right? Because somebody that might have wanted to work with you now knows they should not, because you put your stake in the ground, and that's perfect. That is literally what you want. And I know it's the weirdest thing. It's the most, if you're somebody that writes for everybody, it's going to be the weirdest thing to start writing for one person. If you're somebody that's trying to sell to everybody, it's going to be the weirdest thing to try to sell to. If you're somebody that's trying to recruit for everybody, it's going to be the weirdest thing to try to recruit for mechanical engineers. But the moment that you do, here's what happens, okay? The moment you become a beast, an absolute beast at recruiting for mechanical engineers, guess what people are going to be thinking about? Well, if he can recruit for mechanical engineers, then he could probably recruit for anything. Versus, you can recruit for anything. Oh, he could probably recruit for mechanical engineers. That's not how it works. No. It's actually the opposite.
Then you get all the, well, what about this? What about that? No. It's like, well, what do you do?
What do you do? And it's like, hey,
you could have just started with that. and then ask, what do you do? Yeah.
But like, take it to sports. Think of all the athletes that after sports go to be commentators. Okay. What's that thing they did? They played that sport really well, right? So now they can go and commentate about said sport that they do really well, right? Like, that's
it. Tom Brady's starting to announce this year. It'll be fun. But this is Immaculata. Did I say that right? You're gonna have to let us know in the comments. Pronounce that.
Immaculata. See, Immaculata Sanchez.
You're Dominican. You got that one down. I shouldn't have said that. You should have.
No, you got
30 minutes or an hour. I'm kidding. If I'm enjoying the conversation, people deserve the time to be understood.
There you go. So to Clark's point, right? To your point earlier, and you're not wrong. Look, I'm going to also keep it real. If I notice that a conversation is rambling, well, to Clark's point, that's I'm protecting your time, because and this is just real shit. Most people don't realize they're rambling, but because I've been in so many of these conversations, I know that this is not going to help you. And like real stuff, the amount of time I'm going to give back to you, well, after our talk, you probably have a better understanding of like what you need to do and what needs. Now get to it. So I want to give you back time. So yeah, anytime I can, like I notice that the conversation is not productive, then I'll be like, and I'll be honest as I can possibly be. Like, hey, like I got what I needed. Like if there's anything else that you needed for me to know, but like we're good here.
And the rambling is something I'll always have to work on, I think, for the rest of my life. Even cutting off conversations with people that I work with daily and love and care about.
Yeah.
It's like, I think you and I have to hit cut-off points when we're talking to each other, because we could go on forever. Like, all right, dude, we got to go like live our life. Like we got to go like, okay, let's go knock out all this stuff that we're talking about. Like we got to go make it happen. And that's okay. As John just said, being willing to say one word, no, being able to, say no, draw the line. And these things aren't always confrontational.
Yeah.
I think that's maybe why people are scared to implement them. They're like, well, how are they going to react? Or it has to be confrontational. It doesn't have to be. Go ahead.
And they're not forever.
Yes.
They're not confrontational and they're not forever.
Yeah.
Like that should make everybody that should make everybody excited.
Yeah.
Like, thank you. You know, the basis for what we're doing here in recruiting is we're connecting opportunity to talent. There are millions upon millions of jobs out there. There are going to be jobs that nobody can fill. Like, you know, there's more jobs than there are recruiters to fill. So it's, you know, it's going back to slowing down to speed up. And to the basis of our conversation here, I schedule 15, always having to, yeah. So getting back to the basis of our talk here and kind of pushing it forward a little bit. So understanding your why, right? Understanding why you got into these things so that you can understand those day-to-day reasons why you're doing what you're doing. To John's point, the basis of the reason why Clark and I can talk so abstractly and then concretely about this is because we wake up every day and have executed on a plan and strategy. And if we notice it didn't work, we tweaked it. We tried something else. And if that didn't work, we tweaked it and we tried something else. And if that didn't work, we tweaked it and we tried something else. But at no point did we hop off the treadmill. At no point did the treadmill stop. And at no point did we say, we're not going to try to push forward. And for personally, I think that goes to the basis of we have direction with where we want to go ultimately. And then the day-to-day is filled in knowing that why piece of why you're doing what you're doing. How does it become fun? How does this process start to become fun for people where it isn't a struggle, it isn't anxiety because you're thinking of the past, you're not depressed because you're thinking about the future, but you're just in it. And that's where it feels like we are right now.
Well, how to make it fun, and another comment I want to get to is,
oh yeah.
To me, fun is, and it's gonna sound weird, it starts with telling the truth to myself and to the market.
Ooh.
Because that's how I brought in the people I want to work with. I'll say it again. I absolutely love the clients that join the Recruiter Mastermind program. I mean, it has been the last, especially once we dialed in the sales coaching piece with Keely, we brought you on to support with just everything, right? Client experience and content. It's the people are in it to win it. They're in it to work. They're in it to learn. And I spent years figuring out how to get clients that way.
Dude, you're right.
People realize how much work it takes to get great clients and to figure out what that even looks like before you're even going to get them. And you're going to get not great clients. And that doesn't mean they're bad people. They're just not great clients for you. And I've had to learn that too. Who do I serve best? Who do I not serve best? Or someone came in that maybe wasn't prepared and I didn't give them everything that they needed just because maybe I wasn't set up that way. I didn't realize it till after the fact. And instead of putting the blame on them or whatever, just understanding where to take responsibility and ownership over that and to improve, but also knowing, for the price point for where we were at and for what they did give, you got a ton that they can take away and learn. It might not have been at the exact optimized level, but if I'm 3 months into business, 6 months, a year, I mean, those are things you work on and build, right? You have to allow yourself grace for yourself and for your clients and those clients that might not serve you as well anymore as you did when you were starting out. And that's okay too. It doesn't have to be a bad thing, right? It's just, it's a stage, right? You can have those past relationships. That's like, that was in that moment of time that relationship served me really well for the rest of my life, but it wasn't a forever thing.
That's beastie. I think that's a great breakdown. I think fun starts with no. To John's point, I think fun actually starts with no.
I'm writing that down.
The moment that you can be in a client meeting, sorry, I have goosebumps. I'm thinking about this right now. I think you are right, John, and what you're talking about. The moment I was in a client meeting and I knew I did not have a solution for them, And I did not want to be the solution for them because I knew they would not be a good client for me. And I said no was the moment all this became fun. It was the moment, because it was the moment I had enough confidence in my ability to tell somebody no, because I knew I would find my great next client. That is absolutely it.
It's so good. I mean,
and then when you get that great client, how you get to keep your energy and enthusiasm and creativity. Dude, so my gosh, that's what people miss.
Well, that's what's been cool about seeing you get on the phone one-on-one in the group with people and just be like,
so fun.
These people are like great. Like you're in a room of learners and people that want to learn and be better. And they don't need it to be, they don't necessarily care about the gift wrapping. They care about what's inside.
Yes.
Right. It's not about, they have all their like images and all the courses nice and tidy and all that's like, well, there's a bunch of gold in here and I'm going to figure it all out. And we got things, laid out and structured, but like there's, for me, we're always going to be improving. We're always like adding. I'm like, oh, Kevin, we got to add this whole section. We got to add this whole module. And you're like, all right, calm down. Calm down a little bit.
That's a great analogy. Yeah. That's a great analogy. Most people are like the kid on Christmas that just rips through that, right? They get the end result and then they throw it to the side, right? And they can't wait to rip open the next one. And we're the people that get that doll. You know the doll that opens up to the next doll and then the next doll?
Yeah.
We're the people that open up the next doll and we're like, okay.
Russian dolls or whatever?
Mash is something, right? Hey, if y'all know in the comments, let us know. But we open up that first doll, we're like, okay, wait, what's this? Well, that's interesting. Like we analyze it, we think about it, we sit with it. And then we build around it and we develop our thoughts and creativity and then we take off the next one. And there's another one. And it's the same thing. But it's just a little bit smaller. You're like, oh, okay. And then you got to figure out a little bit more. And it's like there is no end. It's just a process. Versus that person that opens it up, gets that feeling, and then throws it to the side because that feeling means nothing for them. Because they didn't get to work for it. Except
they just want to accumulate stuff. But then how does that feel? The material stuff, it's empty, right? It's junk food.
Super empty. You
can't even, can you remember what you got 9 years ago for Christmas? Absolutely not.
Heck no.
But you could probably remember if you had 2014, you were with family and it was another, like I remember 2013 in 2014. I remember that was my grandmother was there with her husband that she married like that summer. My aunt and uncle came out with, at the time was their 1-year-old who's now 10, which is insane. Like my brother and sister were there and they stayed there. My roommate went on a second date with his now wife, right? And we were just like we were joking around like they met and like now they've been together for 10 years. Like I remember those 2 weeks because of that. I couldn't tell you one present I got those 2 weeks.
Do you know why? It's because we're chasing a feeling, right? Aren't you? When you open up that gift, you get that feeling and then you throw it to the side. Why do you open up the next gift and the next one? Because you're chasing a feeling. You're chasing instead of living in the moment.
Yeah. So I want to get through these comments because
these are good. Let's do it. Let's go. Yeah,
but I love this point here. When you have the right plan, and you have the skill sets, someone's in the sphere of who you can serve, but it might not be that role at that time, right? Right person, right time, what we always talk about. That's okay. That's not what we're talking. I mean, spend an extra time with that person. It's like, it might not be right now, but it could be down the road. That was one of the things that made me successful.
All the time.
I'm sure you, Kevin, right?
100%.
We called them like network ads. 15 a week is what I wanted in my different skill sets. I was probably going to place. I wasn't going to place all of them, but like I could go back to my notes or I would just remember like, wait, I had that 30, 40-minute conversation and be like 4 months down the road. I talked to someone like this. Let me search a couple keywords. Oh, boom, I found that person. I'd call them. They remember. Oh, yeah, of course I remember talking to you. We talked like for 40 minutes and you knew like it wasn't the right fit for me, but you heard me out. And I haven't left enough of those nuggets to spark the memory again. And it can jump right back into the conversation. And that's how it happens.
And once you do this enough, I've done that number one and gotten the fee for it. but I've also had so many conversations with people at this point that I just play matchmaker, and I just connecting people.
Here you go.
I have no idea what happens, but let me tell you what happened. 2 weeks ago, I did this 8 months ago, and Junaid knows. I just connected 2 people randomly that just needed to be connected because somebody was like, "Hey," and they were even going to give me a piece of the action, and I was like all I literally did was send a message to 2 people. That's ridiculous. Just like, it's cool. And they just hit me up last week and were like, "Hey, I have this VP of marketing role I'd really like to talk to you about because you're the one who connected us and now we need this role." And completely unexpected. And look, I'm not saying I was looking out for that. I'm just saying when you come from a place of security where like you just don't like, because I don't care about I don't care. And if it works out for me, I just feel like the world is gonna work for me if I do it this way. And if it doesn't, it is what it is. But I'm never going to stop doing this because it feels right and it makes me feel good.
To that point, we started the split rec board back in August. We did like a beta version, and it never sat right with me because my thing is just to make introductions without expecting anything. And if people want to kick a fee after the fact or whatever, they give, 5K or something like that to make an introduction. Sure. Fine. I'm not going to say no to money, but my purpose is to find is to make the introduction and you guys take it from there. And I wanted to get back to that. Like I missed being at that stage. I hated the red tape we impose on ourselves with some of you got to pay to be part of it, blah, blah, blah. Like that's just not how I operate in terms of recruiting. It's just making the match and just making introductions and building that network, because in terms of what we do in the program, you have to choose, you have to want to be in the program, right? That's why I don't force anyone. I follow up with people that I think when I talk to them would be a perfect fit. And I understand sometimes it's not the right time, but like that's the only people I push is that I was like, I know how much you would get out of this. Right. And it's a check-in and stuff like that. Like, hey, how are we feeling about this? Right. It's not the right time. Or, the owner won't invest in it. And like, I know there's plenty of owners that don't understand any of this stuff. Right. And we're changing that script day in, day out. But man, it comes from like those people that are in it.
Yeah.
And seeing their change and like the light bulb moments. I'm like, man, let's get more of those going. Yeah.
Were you ever a plug and play person? Like you just like when I first started this, I wanted a button. I was willing to do the work, but I was hoping along the way I would find a button that I could just press.
I threw all my money when I got in entrepreneurship. I threw all my money at someone that had a lot of it.
Same. I've spent 20 plus.
Like, I'm just going to get $10 million because of this. I threw $100,000 at someone, and I had seen a penny of that back 6 years 100%. Later. Because I deserved it because I wasn't willing to do any of the work.
Same.
I wanted to outsource my success.
Same.
And that it only comes from inside. And success isn't monetary. It's not material. Like it's money is amazing. Money helps. It's all good. I don't have a problem with money or material things, but I've chased it for fulfillment, and I'm batting zero every single time.
Success I have broken down to, it's a trap. Success of it itself is a trap, because success is this very abstract thing that is different for every single person. And there's definitely monetary success. And I'm not going to be the first to say, look, I know money makes the world go round, so I'm not going to get up on my soapbox here. But when you find internal success, when you find mental success, which I think is an understanding that the more that you're willing to understand people's worldviews and where they've come from, to understand what they understand, and the more you're willing to exercise your empathy in relating and communicating with these people, I feel like from that standpoint, no matter what you do, it's hard not to find success. It's hard not to find success when you genuinely care about, when two things are real, when you genuinely care about the other side and you sincerely understand what you can deliver to them. Like you have your boundaries too. Like you're because I used to have it be toxic, right? I toxically wanted to help people so much so that I helped 3 friends build businesses that I completely built for them. I completely ran for them, and then like would give them the money because I just wanted them to succeed so bad. But it's this middle ground where you just know yourself, your abilities, and you are willing to tell that person no because you know it's going to help them ultimately. Like you're not going to give them that $10,000 advance. You're not, because you got to do the work. Because me and you both know after doing the work, after trial and error, that's what changes us. That's what changes us.
And funny thing is, the money can follow in this industry. A lot of money can follow quickly. If you do that, we're talking, give yourself 3 months, 6 months, a year. You know what it was in 2018? I thought I was acting like I had 3 months to live. Like, what was I doing? What was I so anxious about? What was I so stressed about? Well, I was 31 and I left Aerotech. Maybe had some imposter syndrome. You know, I didn't hit contest when I was there. I was building up towards it, but I didn't care about the incentives. Their why did not match up with my why, and that was draining me. So I had to at least leave. So I removed myself from that environment. Nothing against the people, anything like that. Although it's interesting, a lot of people fall off that act like your friends at certain points. And I realized, like, all right, a lot of that stuff there's some really good stuff, but a lot of stuff isn't what I thought it was going to be, right? And I tend to give people the benefit of the doubt, come at it pretty optimistically, all that stuff. But, you know, people were just in it because it was convenient, or I just happened to be there at the time. I'm like, oh, okay. I didn't take it personally, right? And I tried to kind of chase that around in LA. Without a full-time job, you should try to figure it out. Is not the place to be, and it did not work well for me. But I learned so many lessons, right? I just got kicked to the ground completely of my own doing. It was all my choices. And getting back up, it was just, for me, I got to put it in God's hands, and that is what turned everything around. Put the right people. I started just having that awareness again, and really taking a look of, like, how do people view me? How should people view me? And well, a lot of times I had the feeling, well, I'm just a good person, right? And then I started thinking back on my actions. And if we want to get really deep with it, with some of my partying, and you know, like, sober Clark was great. Maybe not sober Clark, maybe said things and did things that, those are the things that left an impression on people. And I had to take that ownership. I had to repent. I apologized to a few people in my life. Some of them were like, "Why are you apologizing to me?" I was like, "Because I just have to. I have to just do this because it's not aligned with who I want to be."
Yep.
But I understand that's who I was. And I had to do that in sales. I do that. Like, you got to be able to face those. That was hurt. It was painful. I did not want to do those things. It was embarrassing. But man, it freed me in a sense. It's just like, okay, to look at just what is, like, what am I left with as a person? I was like, I was like, when I work hard, I get complacent, and I don't always work hard, and I'm trying to outsource. So that's not the traits of a man I want to be, a man that wants to have a family and be a husband and a father and a business owner. Like, there's a huge missing gap here, and I can be mad at the world for a bunch of different things. Sure. But no one cares, like, at all. And I was like, okay, like, what do I got to do? I still had the grace, luckily, of one person in my life that was just like, saw the potential and just like saw that he could be a vessel, like was a vessel kind of for me to just like, hey, as long as you're willing to own it and go down this path going forward, like, I'll give you a shot. And I was like, thank you. Like, just one shot. You know, as talked about it before, I started $12 an hour for 4 years ago, a little over 4 years ago, and just one step at a time, and it's just doing the work. And I started respecting that piece again and doing the work, you know, I mean, spiritually, but also just showing up and just being humble. I wasn't making the money I was making 2 or 3 years before, but it was like, you know what? I put myself in that hole. And I think that's a lot of people for this year, last couple of years. If you don't have the clients that you want, just take ownership. Just know that it's your fault, but it's fixable.
Mm-hmm.
Like, stop blaming everything else. It's just whatever. If you didn't see the trends changing, that's your fault. right?
Yeah.
If you didn't see anchor clients going away, that's your fault. Now,
Yep.
are you stuck with the blame forever, the guilt on it? No, pick up and move on, right?
Yeah.
But they're like, you have to be aware of that. Like, it was my fault I got put in that situation. I did that to myself. I had every chance in the freaking book. Are you
Yeah.
kidding me? But I interpreted things. I was just wrong about things. That's okay.
You reminded me of two fantastic books that are on a huge list, on a 25 book list. Can't Hurt Me by David Goggins, and Extreme Ownership, Jocko Willenick, and I can't remember the other gentleman, but but um, you know, they both center on, there has to come a moment in time where you just like, you have to like look at yourself and be okay with who that person is, and be confident in where you've gotten to and how you've gotten to that place, understanding that, like, there's no story that's linear. All stories are roller coasters, and it took failures and wins, and failures and wins for us all to kind of get to this place. But especially for recruiters, and even thinking about even thinking about my start. I mean, technically my start was, it was Amazon, but technically my start to recruiting was when Adam sourced me on LinkedIn, August of 2020. And I technically had never recruited all the way to the end at that time, but I faked the funk. I just acted like I had done it. And I acted like I had been there. And I had done enough at Amazon that I understood how the process had gone. And so when the question came, like, it wasn't like, how many times have you done this? Like, you think you can do this? It was like, yep, I can. And then it was just owning it. So, in terms of when you get to that place, it was spending 18 hours a day learning recruiting because I actually had no idea what I was doing. So I was given my first role, and all I know is I didn't want to fail. So I was willing to bust my butt to learn whatever. I mean, 18 hours a day sourcing because I had no idea what a Boolean search was. Then I finally figured out like what a Boolean search was, and okay, then I started like going through the process of learn, and then I learned LinkedIn Recruiter, and then I learned messaging, and like, it's just, when you have, I think it's when you have the confidence in yourself and your abilities. And there was 8 years of lying to myself, 8 years of the partying, 8 years of all the mistakes made, of not actually giving myself any direction, to then where it came to like kind of a rock bottom. Like, I'll keep it real. There was this rock bottom moment where, I'm looking at my one child at this point, but my pregnant wife, and there's a legacy, like, at the end of this thing, what are the people I love most going to say about me? Like, yeah, there's these people that I have to deal with out here. There's these clients, right? But at the basis, like, what are these people that are in my house going to say about me? And that's the basis for the why, right? Going back to the why, the conversation of everything of what we're doing. Recruiters, agency recruiters, are you actually placing a candidate? Is that your job there? When you get a rec from a hiring manager, is the end goal honestly to place a candidate, or is it so that at the end of your life, when all of the people that you love are sitting around you, they're saying the things that you want them to say about you? And so I think there's a deeper purpose to everything we do, and I think it's that, right? I think that people get lost in the sauce along the way to forget that really the reason why they started getting in recruiting, the reason why I started getting into wanting to help people, was because I wanted my two boys to see that. I wanted them to emulate that, right? I want at the end of my life for there to be a bigger purpose for me than just Kevin was a recruiter. No, Kevin was a person that helped this person, to help this person. And you know what? I don't need anybody to tell me that, because as long at the end of the life, hopefully I have my brain and wits about me, I'll know it for myself. And
It's
because
just
I've
what you
owned that
do.
story, that's what we do.
It's
That's
what you
what we
do.
do.
It's just what you do. It's just
Yeah.
who you are. I mean, I'm gonna put John's comment up here, and he's talking about it from being a recruiting agency that knows who they are, right? You got to start with a person as a recruiter and an owner. I'm sure John, that's what he started at, is he knew who he is. And then now the agency, they know who they are. And being able to say this and have these conversations, I mean, it's so powerful. And in a sense, personally, you have that narrow lane, Kevin, and I had to be comfortable with that narrow lane because there's something in our society that's like you can be anything you want to grow, right? I mean, that's talk about, where people don't think that they can niche down. That's what we're told, bro. You can be anything you want to. Okay, but at some point you got to choose, what are you going to be and who are you going to be?
Yeah.
You got to make a choice. Well, here's the thing. Everything is a choice. So the choice will be made whether you know it or not. And so just start taking ownership over the choices.
Choices and trade-offs. Everything is a choice and everything is a trade-off, right? By you choosing to do this, you are choosing not to do all these other things. Let me say that again.
Chosen to basically be unemployable as a W-2 employee. I'm okay with it. So let's ride. Let's do it.
And so, that's really like every choice has a trade-off. As long as you're good with those trade-offs, like for instance, and that's the one that I am 100% okay with, then own it. And man, that's what I really think makes this fun. That's where some of this really starts to get special. That's when you're able to start building things with people and again, like back to getting just secure with yourself and who you are and your abilities. That's when the fun really starts to begin, because to John's point, you know what you deliver and you know what you don't, and you know who you can help best and you know who you can't. And when you're operating on all cylinders, you are willing to let those people that you cannot go so they can find the solution they actually need, so that you can take your time and energy and be the solution you need to be for the people that could utilize that best.
Yeah. And that's like, I've been messing with my headline a little bit. I came up with, I'm on a mission to help agency recruiters get clients and candidates excited to work with them. And ultimately, how do we get there? LinkedIn profile, some automation, the messaging being huge, the content, right? In a commoditized industry, I want the people in your world to be excited to work with you, excited to answer your call, to get on a call with you, because they know you're going to leave them better than you found them in the beginning of that call.
That's it. Yeah.
How many clients and candidates of yours get excited to hear from you? Maybe that's a good starting point.
Definitely. I'll say when it comes to my calls, that's definitely one of the kudos we get for sure. Because yeah, they know I'm gonna focus on them, and it's gonna be a wholesome call. I like that headline. It's a good headline. Good headline.
This was fun. This was a good one.
This was fun. This was a good one. This was a good one. This was a lot deeper. I like it. I love the comments. We had some fantastic comments from folks today.
Yeah.
What are we doing? What's going on this week? Are there things happening?
Well, we're flying out to Miami. We'll meet up tomorrow afternoon.
Oh, that's right.
That'll be fun.
Hi, Disa. Hi, Lacey.
Hi, Four. Yeah, we'll see Lacey, Disa.
Hi, Betty.
Tashika, we'll see. Brian.
Tashika.
I don't know if we'll see. Oh, we won't see Rachel. But it'll be a ton of fun. Okay. A ton of fun.
I'll get to meet you.
Well, you and I will actually get to meet. Yeah, it'll be great. You'll meet Christina. That'll be cool. Yep, that'll be awesome. She's the reason we're here, honestly, because you guys connected and introduced me and all that. You, so that'll be fun. So I'm excited to meet a few people, see some clients, all that this week. Talk about this stuff. It's gonna be great. I don't know when we'll do something live. I'm sure in Miami. We'll have to figure that out. Yeah, yep. We'll figure something out. So stay tuned. We are uploading these as podcasts on Spotify and Apple. They're uploaded on the YouTube, the Digital Recruiter channel. So check those out. We're uploading some of the stuff that we did back in December, I think, starting tomorrow. Yep. How to create content that sells, how to get great clients. So that's fun. So make sure to subscribe to those. Give us 5 stars. I think someone gave me like a 1-star on Spotify podcast, which is rude. So it knocked my rating down to 4.3. Trying to bump that back up, but that's all right.
Calm down.
I got a big hater over there, so out there somewhere, but I'm sure it's not the only one.
Maybe just a recruiter hater in general.
There's gonna be many more. I'm okay with it. But I got the ones that I roll with, and I'm happy with that, man.
There you go. There you go.
No, it'll be a fun week, man. It'll be fun.
Yeah, man.
And this was fun. This was good. And hopefully it was helpful for everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bradley, John.
Yeah. LinkedIn user. Thank you. Rachel.
Jennifer, Rachel. LinkedIn user. That's just what it comes up here on here. It just says LinkedIn user. Called me the GOAT. So I appreciate you.
LinkedIn that is user. True. That is true. Thanks, Christina. Is it you, Christina? No.
It might be. I don't know. All right, man. Well, hey, safe travels tomorrow.
Safe travels. Yes.
I'll have my sunglasses with me. We'll be there. Yep. We'll be there.
We'll be there.
All right, y'all. Hey, everyone have a great week. Have a great rest of the Monday.
Yeah. Appreciate y'all. Have a fantastic weekend. Week.